So one specific thing I remember about my first date with Colt was that he wrapped a millie in my car. Pretty sure it was on the ride back from the date because we went to Class and Curve and ate at Upper Crust and then went and looked at Christmas lights in Nichols Hills. And so on the way back, I had a little bit of car drive and he was like, oh, like play a millie because I can wrap it. And it just was a lot of fun because I was on a date with this boy that I really liked and thought was super funny, and it was just such a great time, and I had him do it a lot after that. So it was just a fun memory.
So one thing I remember about my first date with Greer, so backstory, our first date, which we've recreated pretty much for every anniversary we've had, is it was our freshman year of college, and we went to Edmond, where she's from, and we went to the Upper Crust in Class and Curve because that's one of her favorite restaurants. And then since it was in December, we decided to go look at Christmas lights in Nichols Hills, and I didn't know the area very well, so Greer was willing to drive. Thought, hey, that's great, I'll get dinner, you drive, that's perfect. And we were coming back to Norman, and the one thing I remember is that we were talking about our music tastes and like different artists we like and everything, and Greer was telling me how much she liked the song Super Bass, and I was like, okay, catchy song, Nicki Minaj, that's great. And she was like, oh, I'm really good at rapping it. So naturally, I was like, oh, I have to hear this. And no doubt, she started singing and then rapping Super Bass when we were on like College and Lindsay headed back to campus. And I didn't know how I felt about her at that moment, but I knew she was cool at least. And that was a really, really unique memory because I was like, anyone with the confidence on the first date to start rapping any song, let alone Nicki Minaj, I definitely want to be around them. So that was something that was kind of cool, very unexpected, but definitely something that sticks out to me about our first date.
So it's hard to pinpoint like a specific restaurant for Colt. He loves a steakhouse. So that's, just some sort of steak. Usually we'll do that for like an anniversary dinner or something, just like a special occasion. Go to like a super nice steakhouse. He loves Italian. Can't go wrong with that. We also love burgers, so we go and get burgers a lot. Like we just went to In-N-Out. I think that's gonna be a new go-to for us. But yeah, I think a steakhouse, can't go wrong with him. And like I know him and his family like love mahogany. But yeah, he loves a good steak.
My favorite restaurant is, I jump around a little bit. I don't necessarily have like a single favorite. If I had to pick one in Tulsa, it'd probably be the Polo Grill. If it was one in Norman, it would probably be Victoria's Pasta Shop. Greer's favorite restaurants. We've been to quite a few. If I had to say a favorite though, it's either On the Border for Mexican food, or she also loves Upper Crust.
So it's definitely hard for me to pick like a favorite restaurant because I just love like, Long Line, maybe for like a salad or something. Upper Crust for like pizza. But if I had to pick like a favorite restaurant, I definitely love like On the Border because I just love Mexican. Like anything Mexican like is my favorite. Chips, queso, salsa, some fajita chicken, like that's where I want to be.
Greer's pet peeve about me. All right. If it's something minor, it'd probably be like I have like audible tics, if that makes sense. Like humming or whistling or bebopping. That could probably get on my nerves a little bit. If it's something like more overarching, maybe my need for organization, like order, I could definitely see how that could get annoying in like personal spaces. So probably one of those.
So pet peeve with Cole. That's kind of hard. Obviously, I love everything about him, and we're about to get married, and now we live together, so I'm assuming things will come up around down the road, especially as you learn people's routine and habits and things like that. But if I had to pick something right now, I think he's so willing and giving and loving towards others that but he isn't as easy to accept in return. Like he would do anything for me, his friends, his family, just like anyone. And sometimes he just like won't take that in return, and I'm like, let me love you, like let me just do something for you, you know. Not that that's like a pet peeve or a huge problem or anything, but it's just like, homie, I love you, let me do this. But I know I'm the exact same way, you know. And so sometimes it's just like a communication of just like, I'm not as forthright with like, oh hey, like I need help in this area or whatnot. We're both pretty independent, and so just kind of like similar mindset in that. I'm just like, it's okay, let me do something for you, I love you, you know. Favorite memory with Colt. Okay, so that's super hard because I mean, we've been together for 5 years now, and I could probably pick a memory from each year, and they just grow greater and greater each year. But I'd say if I had to pick one from like a recent like favorite memory, we recently went to the Cody Johnson concert, and this kind of relates to an earlier memory as well. We went to a concert in Tulsa, and this was our third time together with Cody Johnson. So it's just kind of like a sweet tradition that we have, is if we can get tickets to a concert and we can go, we go. Like for Cody Johnson. And with You I Am is like our song, like one of our, like we say it's one of our favorite songs, and we just like love the lyrics. And there's just been lots of nights where it's like, okay, I've like been driving my car or he has, and I'll snap him a picture of that, and vice versa. And so sophomore year, I think we went to our first Cody Johnson concert, and you know, we were just like dancing to it. And so like at this most recent concert, we were kind of like in the box seating, and with You I Am was one of the first songs playing. And he like grabbed my hand and he said, do you want to dance? And I mean, we were with friends and things like that, but we just took that moment to ourselves and just danced to our favorite song that, you know, we had listened to so many times over the years. And now we are engaged and we're getting married. And so it was just a sweet moment, and definitely one of my favorite memories because it related to so many memories previously. And that song just means a lot to us.
Favorite memory with Greer. So I guess one specific one that comes to mind was really, really early when we started going out. It was actually like the night that I decided to like, or the morning I guess, decided to officially become like, you know, boyfriend and girlfriend. But it was just one night where we were hanging out in the Headington study rooms, because that's, you know, Greer lived there, and so I'd go over there to study and stuff because it was a lot nicer than the dorms. But that day, it was like a Thursday, or no, it was a Wednesday night. And it was, I guess, not the night we decided to actually like, you know, become exclusive with one another, but for some reason we just stayed up till like 6 a.m. or whatever in the study rooms, like talking and hanging out. And I had like an 8:30 lab, which really sucked, but I knew like I didn't want to go anywhere because I was having such a great time with her. So yeah, that was one. We spent a lot of time there with our friends and everything, especially freshman year. But that was like I think a couple days later was actually when we like became exclusive. So that was like one of the last times we were talking just as like, you know, people who were dating. And it was just really fun, really stupid, honestly, because I was exhausted the next day, but totally worth it. And definitely one of the best memories.
So one of my favorite things about Colt, obviously, I could give you a huge long list. I love everything about him. And he's my best friend, and that, you know, means a lot in itself. Just, you know, like that he is my person, like wholeheartedly. I love like spending time with him day in, day out. I love talking to him. He's a great partner, great support system, great cheerleader, all those things. But favorite thing, and this kind of like attracted me to him kind of in like the first place, is like his humor. I love his humor. I think is so funny. He's also so intelligent. So like he has such a smart wit, and that just immediately like made things like click. I was like, I want this person like in my life, like in some capacity, like obviously like wanted it to be more, but even if we were just friends, like he is someone I saw that like had a great heart, but like had a great personality and humor, and like that is what I was looking for. And I mean, obviously, and I like love his laugh and his smile, but all that kind of culminates in just like into his personality, and like humor is a huge part of that for him.
Favorite thing about Greer? I mean, she's a pretty wonderful person, as most of you know. So I'm sure you would agree with this. But I love how comfortable she makes everyone feel. Like she's very inviting and warm and just kind. And I mean, like she's one of my best friends, clearly. So that's always nice. And she's just always made me feel super comfortable around her. We can be 100% ourselves with one another, which is fantastic. And I know that she's comfortable with me too in that way. And that's probably the best thing about her. Okay, specific moment I knew I wanted to marry Greer. This is super easy. So our junior year, we were going out for like our would have been our 2 year anniversary. So I took her, to a nice restaurant in the city, Broadway 10, Chop House, and Automobile Alley for all my Oklahoma City peeps. Go, it's a lot of fun. Massive windows because it used to be like a car dealership, so that's always cool. But so we did that. Really nice dinner. Went to brunch in Edmond the next day. Just kind of like spent the weekend going around and everything. And it was after brunch that I like had called my mom, and like right after I dropped Greer off, and I was like, okay, I definitely know, like I want to marry this girl. And so like I was like, I'm gonna start saving up a little bit of money now to try to get a ring. I'm not sure exactly. Like we had talked about getting married and everything, and we were kind of talking about a timeline and whatnot before, like if we were to do that. But that was the time that I like specifically knew. So I guess that would be, I guess like December, early December, like, third, fourth, somewhere in there of like 2019, I'd have to say. Yeah, 2018, 19, somewhere in there. But yeah, so 2 year anniversary, junior year.